All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Sarabjit Kaur. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address inaugural session of 82nd All India Presiding Officers Conference in Shimla at 10 a.m. today. Kartarpur corridor reopens today after 20 months. Home Minister Amit Shah says the decision reflects immense reverence of Modi government towards Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji and Sikh community. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to inaugurate Rashtra Raksha Samarpan Parv as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in Jhansi today. Centre approves a new Rajya Sainik Board for Ladakh. Power Ministry issues revised guidelines for thermal generation companies to set up renewable energy generation capacity. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 113 crore 61 lakh mark. US Special Representative for Afghanistan Thomas West meets National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and Foreign Secretary Harsh V. Shringla in New Delhi. Indian Recurve men's and women's teams enter finals of Asian Archery Championships in Dhaka. And in cricket, India to take on New Zealand in first T20 of three-match series in Jaipur this evening. As India created history by administering over 100 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses, other frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow all these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings to its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in Morning News since the 16th of August and will continue till the 15th of August 2022. India Post has joined hands as the logistics partner with All India Radio News for the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. Recalling our yesterday's question, name the calligrapher who hand-wrote the original Constitution of India. The correct answer is Sri Prem Bihari Narayan Raizada of Rampur. The original Constitution of India was neither typed nor printed. It was handwritten by Prem Bihari Narayan Raizada.
Myself, B.R. Joshi. I belong to Uttarakhand. I am a listener of Akashvani from my childhood days. It plays a very important role in enhancing our awareness in day-to-day life. I also thanks to Akashvani for starting this program, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. It is definitely creating enhancement in our knowledge regarding martyrs of our country due to whose sacrifice we got this freedom.
AIR News got an overwhelming response from its listeners across the world, and we congratulate the lucky winner of the quiz, B.R. Joshi from Rajeshwaripuram, Dehradun, Uttarakhand. The next question of Amrit Mahotsav quiz will be shared with listeners on Monday, the 22nd of November. Celebrate 75 years of India's independence by participating in Amrit Mahotsav quiz with AIR News.
रंग दो नव भारत की उड़ान, आजादी की नई पहचान, देशभक्ति की रंगोली से देश सजा दो, देश सजा दो।
आजादी की 75वीं वर्षगांठ पर देश अमृत महोत्सव मना रहा है। इसमें रंगोली प्रतियोगिता हो रही है। क्या आप भी इसमें भाग लेना चाहते हैं? यदि हाँ, तो रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए amritmahotsav.nic.in पर जाएं।
देश सजा दो, ऐसे रंग भरो भारत का, हर सपना रंगीन बना दो।
And now, the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the inaugural session of 82nd All India Presiding Officers Conference, AIPOC, in Shimla at 10 a.m. today via video conferencing. The All India Presiding Officers Conference, the apex body of the legislatures in India, is celebrating its 100 years in 2021. To commemorate the centennial year of AIPOC, the 82nd edition of the event is being held today and tomorrow. The first conference was also held in Shimla in 1921. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Jairam Thakur and Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman Harivansh will be present on the occasion. We have more from our correspondent.
To mark the occasion, the Himachal Pradesh Legislative Assembly in Shimla has been decorated with colourful lights and security has been beefed up. The two-day centenary 82nd All India Presiding Officers Conference will be attended by 378 dignitaries, including 288 presiding officers of 36 state assemblies at Himachal Vidhan Sabha in Shimla today to deliberate on various issues like reviewing the centenary journey, strengthening democracy and the responsibility of the presiding officers towards the House and the people. Besides speakers, deputy speakers, principal secretaries and secretaries and senior officials of 36 state assemblies and council will also participate in the conference. On the other hand, yesterday, the 58th Conference of Assembly Secretary was also held in Himachal Pradesh Legislative Assembly, in which the secretaries of 23 state assemblies participated. Sanjeev Sundariyal, AIR News, Shimla.
Kartarpur corridor, which allows Sikh pilgrims to travel visa-free to the Kartarpur Gurdwara in Pakistan via the Atari-Wagah border, reopens today after 20 months. Centre yesterday announced the reopening of the Kartarpur Sahib Gurdwara corridor from today ahead of Gurpurab, the birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, on Friday. Home Minister Amit Shah said the decision reflects the immense reverence of Modi government towards Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji and our Sikh community. Mr. Shah said the nation is all set to celebrate the Prakash Utsav of Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji on Friday, and Modi government's decision to reopen the Kartarpur Sahib corridor will further boost the joy and happiness across the country. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will inaugurate Rashtriya Raksha Samparan Parv as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in Jhansi today. The three-day Rashtriya Raksha Samparan Parv is being organized by the Defence Ministry in collaboration with Uttar Pradesh government. During the event, Defence Ministry will formally dedicate a number of schemes to the nation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch several new initiatives of the Defence Ministry on Friday, coinciding with the birth anniversary of Rani Lakshmi Bai. Prime Minister will hand over the indigenous light combat helicopter to the Indian Air Force, drones built by startups to the Army, and electronic warfare suits to the Navy. More details from our correspondent.
During the Parv, initiatives such as setting up of 100 new Sainik schools, launch of NCC Border and Coastal Scheme, NCC Alumni Association and National Program of Simulation Training for NCC Cadet will be launched by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Foundation stone of 400 crore rupees project of Bharat Dynamics Limited at Jhansi node of UP Defence Corridor will also be laid. Besides, there will be a launch of National War Memorial mobile app. On the 19th, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also hand over indigenously developed light combat helicopter and drones to the armed forces. This is Gaurav for AIR News, Jhansi.
The centre has approved a new Rajya Sainik Board for Ladakh. The board will be an effective link between the centre and the Ladakh administration. Rajya Sainik Board will play an advisory role on the matters relating to the ex-servicemen, war widows, and non-combatants, including serving soldiers and their dependents. Zilla Sainik Welfare Offices of Leh and Kargil will function under the newly constituted Rajya Sainik Board. The board provides access to the welfare schemes under the Raksha Mantri Ex-Servicemen Welfare Fund and Welfare and Resettlement of Ex-Servicemen. The Ministry of Power has issued revised guidelines providing for thermal generation companies to set up renewable energy generation capacity. It can be developed by these companies through developers by open bids and supplying it to the consumers under the existing power purchasing agreements (PPAs). This will enable the replacement of fossil fuel-based energy by renewable energy under the existing PPAs. As the cost of renewable energy is less than the cost of thermal energy, the gains from the bundling of renewable energy with thermal will be shared between the generator and the distribution companies or other procurers on a 50-50 basis.
India's COVID vaccination coverage has crossed 113 crore 61 lakh mark. Out of the total vaccination, more than 75 crore 54 lakh vaccine doses have been given as the first dose, while over 38 crore doses have been administered as the second dose. The Health Ministry said that more than 61 lakh 21,000 vaccine doses were administered till 7 p.m. yesterday.
In our bilingual live phone-in program, Corona Jagrukta series, Dr. Geeta Kampani, Safdarjung Hospital, will be with us tonight to answer the queries related to coronavirus. Listeners can ask questions to the expert from 9:30 p.m. on toll-free number 1-800-115767. That is 1-800-115767. And on telephone number 011-2331-4444. To repeat, 011-2331-4444. You can also post your queries on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address inaugural session of 82nd All India Presiding Officers Conference in Shimla at 10 a.m. today. Kartarpur corridor reopens today after 20 months. Home Minister Amit Shah says the decision reflects immense reverence of Modi government towards Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji and the Sikh community. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to inaugurate Rashtriya Raksha Samparan Parv as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahatsav in Jhansi today. Centre approves a new Rajya Sainik Board for Ladakh. Power Ministry issues revised guidelines for thermal generation companies to set up renewable energy generation capacity. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 113 crore 61 lakh mark. U.S. Special Representative for Afghanistan Thomas West meets National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and Foreign Secretary Harsh V. Shringla in New Delhi. Indian Recurve men's and women's teams enter finals of Asian Archery Championships in Dhaka. And in cricket, India to take on New Zealand in first T20 of 3-match series in Jaipur this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu will inaugurate the Bengaluru Tech Summit, the 3 days annual flagship program in Bengaluru today. Prime Minister of Israel Naftali Bennett and Prime Minister of Australia Scott Morrison will be virtually present during the inaugural event. Karnataka Governor Thawarchand Gehlot, Union Minister for Railways, Communications, Electronics and IT, Ashwini Vaishnav and Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai are also participating in the event. This 24th edition of the event, which is being conducted in a hybrid format, will see participation from 30 countries. U.S. Special Representative for Afghanistan Thomas West visited New Delhi yesterday and called on National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and Foreign Secretary Harsh V. Shringla. Sources said the discussions focused on the current developments in Afghanistan. The topics included the recently held Regional Security Dialogue of National Security Advisors on Afghanistan in New Delhi, movement of people in and out of Afghanistan, coordinating global efforts on humanitarian assistance to Afghanistan, regional security issues and other bilateral and international issues of mutual interest. In a tweet, MEA spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said Mr. West and Mr. Shringla exchanged views on recent developments and issues of common interest in Afghanistan.
Chinese President Xi Jinping and his U.S. counterpart Joe Biden held a virtual meeting yesterday. According to a White House press statement, President Biden told his Chinese counterpart of the continued determination of the United States to ensure a free and open Indo-Pacific region. Biden reiterated the importance of freedom of navigation and safe overflight to the region's prosperity, the readout said. More from our Beijing correspondent.
Much-awaited meeting was held at a time when the US and China had just concluded an agreement at COP26, met at the G20 and the APEC summits. Both the leaders tried to find ways to work with each other and avoid conflict and jointly respond to global challenges such as climate change and energy security, but stuck to hardline positions on thorny issues like Taiwan and Indo-Pacific. Chinese experts said it sent a strong signal to the world that the US and Chinese leaders are looking for ways to stabilize their relations, but they don't expect this one summit could bring the relations back on track. Anshuman Mishra, All India Radio News, Beijing.
Myanmar's ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi has been charged by the military government of election fraud and lawless actions. She was among 16 people to be charged yesterday, including Myanmar's ousted president and the capital city's mayor. Suu Kyi, 76, has not been seen in public since a military coup in February removed her from office. The UN has said that the military crackdown could amount to crimes against humanity, but its envoys have repeatedly been denied access to Myanmar to investigate.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak, Jago. As part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, AIR News is airing Nishan, a 75-episode program on landmark sites associated with the freedom movement. It is being broadcast every Wednesday in our Parikrama program at 4:45 p.m. In today's episode, we will bring you a capsule about Bithur Kanpur, the Centre for War of Independence of 1857.
स्वाधीनता संग्राम के वे निशान जो साक्षी हैं हमारे सेनानियों के संघर्ष और बलिदान के। आकाशवाणी समाचार ला रहा है विशेष श्रृंखला निशान। हर बुधवार को शाम 4:45 पर कार्यक्रम परिक्रमा में FM गोल्ड 100.1 मेगाहर्ट्ज पर।
And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
17th of November is the death anniversary of the valiant hero of the freedom struggle and great revolutionary, Lala Lajpat Rai. Popularly known as Punjab Kesari or the Lion of Punjab, he was a prominent member of the Lal Bal Pal trio, which included Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal, who changed the political discourse of the independence movement. Lala Lajpat Rai was born on January the 28th, 1865 in Dhudike, Punjab. In 1886, he moved to Hisar and started practicing law. He also took up journalism and contributed articles to several newspapers such as the Tribune.
In 1914, he quit practicing law and focused on India's freedom struggle. Lala Lajpat Rai founded the Indian Home Rule League in New York and launched a monthly journal, Young India, as well as the Hindustan Information Services Association. Due to his involvement with the Indian National Congress and participation in the political agitation in Punjab, Lala Lajpat Rai was deported to Mandalay in Burma without trial in 1907. He returned the same year when the Viceroy Lord Minto failed to produce evidence to further detain him for subversion. He founded the National College at the Bradlaugh Hall in Lahore and enrolled Bhagat Singh as a student.
In 1920, Lala Lajpat Rai was elected the president of the Indian National Congress. He was jailed from 1921 to 1923 for taking part in the non-cooperation movement. After his release, he was elected to the Legislative Assembly. In 1928, the British government set up the Simon Commission to discuss constitutional reforms in India.
When the commission visited Lahore on 30th October 1928, Lala Lajpat Rai led a non-violent march in protest against it because the panel did not include any Indian member.
Simon Commission! Simon!
The Superintendent of Police, James A. Scott, ordered a lathi charge on the protesters and personally assaulted Rai, who sustained severe head injuries. He did not recover from the injuries and died on 17th November 1928 following a heart attack.
Also on the 17th of November 1932, the third and last Roundtable Conference began. It concluded on 24th December 1932. Gandhiji and the Indian National Congress did not attend the conference. Many other Indian leaders were also absent. Like the previous two conferences, little was achieved.
The recommendations were published in a white paper in March 1933 and debated in Parliament afterwards. A joint select committee was formed to analyze the recommendations and formulate a new act for India. The committee produced a draft bill in February 1935, which was enforced as a Government of India Act in July 1935.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has applauded the gesture of Union Minister Dr. Bhagwat Karad after he helped a co-passenger who was feeling uneasy on a Delhi-Mumbai flight. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, "A doctor at heart, always. Great gesture by my colleague Dr. Bhagwat Karad." The minister helped stabilize the passenger after he fell down and had complained of giddiness mid-air due to low blood pressure. Mr. Karad, who is a pediatrician, reached out to the passenger and provided first aid and saved the life of a co-passenger.
Indian Recurve men's and women's teams entered the finals of their respective events at the Asian Archery Championships 2021 in Dhaka yesterday. The Indian men's recurve team, composed of Praveen Jadhav, Parth Salunkhe and Kapil, got a bye in the first round. The team then thrashed Saudi Arabia 6-0 in the quarterfinals. In the semis, the Indian trio were given a run for their money by hosts Bangladesh, but eventually persevered, winning the match 5-4 via shoot-off. The Indian men will now clash with top seeds South Korea for the gold medal on Friday. In the women's recurve field, India's Ankita Bhagat, Riddhi Phor and Madhu Vedwan got a bye in the quarterfinals before blanking Vietnam 6-0 in the semi-finals to qualify for the gold medal match. The women's team will also face off South Korea for the top honour on Friday. In cricket, India will take on New Zealand in the first T20 encounter of the three-match series at the Savai Mansingh Stadium in Jaipur today. The match will start at 7 p.m. More from our correspondent.
Rohit Sharma will lead the Indian team while KL Rahul is the vice-captain. Virat Kohli, who relinquished his T20 captaincy, has been rested. Leg spinner Yuzvendra Chahal and pacer Mohammad Siraj returned to Indian squad for series against New Zealand. Hardik Pandya has been dropped from the squad after failing to make an impact during the T20 World Cup. New Zealand's captain Kane Williamson will miss the upcoming 3-match T20I series, opting instead to focus on the Test series that begins on the 25th of November in Kanpur. In Williamson's absence, Team Saudi will serve as a visiting team's captain. One has to be at least partially vaccinated to enter the stadium, and non-vaccinated individuals can only enter with proof of a negative RT-PCR test. Abhishek Mukhopadhyay, Sports Desk, AIR News.
The Met Department in Chennai has said that the low-pressure area over Southeast Bay of Bengal continues to persist in the same place. It is likely to move nearly westwards and reach west central and adjoining southwest Bay of Bengal off South Andhra Pradesh and North Tamil Nadu coasts tomorrow. More details from our Chennai correspondent.
Due to the depression, red alert has been issued to Tiruvallur, Chennai, Kanchipuram and Ranipet districts tomorrow. Heavy to very heavy rainfall are expected in Chennai, Tiruvallur and Chengalpattu districts and heavy rainfall in 9 other districts. Fishermen have been warned not to venture into the seas till tomorrow as squally winds with 40 to 50 km speed will prevail. Rains are likely to continue till 28th morning in some districts. The State Minister for Health M. Subramaniam said that the government is fully prepared to tackle the challenges of the monsoon. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital, Delhi, will have shallow fog. The temperature will vary between 11 and 26 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have rain on thunder showers towards evening or night. Minimum temperature was 25 and the maximum is expected to be around 35 degrees. Kolkata will have mainly clear sky. The city observed minimum temperature of 20 degrees Celsius and the maximum is expected to be around 29 degrees. Hyderabad is likely to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain and temperature will hover between 22 and 30 degrees Celsius. In Bengaluru, the minimum temperature was 19 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be 28. Weather will be generally cloudy with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. Visakhapatnam will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Thiruvananthapuram will have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. In Puducherry, there will be generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. Minimum temperature 23, maximum will be around 30. Guwahati will have fog in the morning and mainly clear sky later. Imphal will have fog in the morning and mainly clear sky later. And the city observed a minimum temperature of 15, maximum will be 26. Shillong will witness partly cloudy sky and Aswal will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature was 13, maximum is expected to be 25.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. NCR schools, colleges shut, construction at a halt till November 21st, writes the Indian Express. Thermal plants closed, trucks can't enter city, headlines the Times of India. For the first time since vaccination started, there are more fully vaxxed Indians now than those with one jab, reports the Hindustan Times. Pfizer makes COVID pill cheaper in poor countries, reports the Asian Age. As focus shifts to COVID pills, Indian companies eye affordable antiviral medicine, writes the Times of India. In a major crackdown on online sexual abuse of minors, CBI registers 23 new cases against 83 accused persons across 14 states, reports The Hindu. On cryptocurrency, RBI chief asserts caution, says not enough debate, writes the Indian Express. And finally, mercury drops below 10 degrees Celsius in Delhi as winter sets in, writes the Hindustan Times.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address inaugural session of 82nd All India Presiding Officers Conference in Shimla at 10 a.m. today. Kartarpur corridor reopens today after 20 months. Home Minister Amit Shah says the decision reflects immense reverence of Modi government towards Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji and Sikh community. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to inaugurate Rashtra Raksha Samarpan Parv as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in Jhansi today. Centre approves the new Rajya Sainik Board for Ladakh. Power Ministry issues revised guidelines for thermal generation companies to set up renewable energy generation capacity. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 113 crore 61 lakh mark. U.S. Special Representative for Afghanistan Thomas West meets National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and Foreign Secretary Harsh V. Shringa in New Delhi. Indian Recurve men's and women's teams enter finals of Asian Archery Championships in Dhaka, and in cricket, India take on New Zealand in first T20 of three-match series in Jaipur this evening. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.